Hello everyone, Assalamu alaikum. I hope you guys doing well. This is me Shahid Zaman Khan, and today's topic is about Pakistan Squash Federation and Pakistani squash players and their education. It's a very important topic, and I hope my this message will direct go to Chief of Air Staff, who's a responsible for squash in Pakistan, because Pakistan Squash Federation hold by Air Force. So and everybody who comes, they comes because of Pakistan Squash Federation, and this message is very helpful if you take this message serious. I mean, for youngsters and younger generation who wants to play squash in top level and who wants to participate outside from Pakistan. So it's a very important message, and I hope this message will help so many youngsters who wants to play outside from Pakistan. So my this message is for the kids who's participating in British Junior, World Junior, US Junior, and so many other tournaments. So when they come outside from Pakistan, they have to speak English. If they can't speak English, they can't understand things. If anything, I mean, if somebody wants to train them, if somebody wants to explain something to them, they don't understand anything. Because when you coming out from Pakistan, most of the kids, I mean, it's hard for their parents to give them education, because most of kids coming from very humble families, very poor backgrounds. So I mean, it's very hard for them to get and continue their education. I mean, we came from the same we were having the same problems too, because our parents can't afford education. But we are very lucky. We are very lucky that we get the people in our life. I have to say thanks for like, first of all, I talk about myself, how I start, and how it's all begin from my side. So then I was thinking, let me convey that message in my video, so it will help so many other youngsters who wants to play, who wants to be successful. So sometimes you get lucky, you get the nice people in your life who can help you and who can support you, and so it can change your life. So how it begins, I belong from Quetta. I mean, I born in Quetta. I raised in a little bit in Quetta, and then when I reached 14, 15, I went to London for 5, 6 years. I was in London. I was in England, and I was playing the league matches. And I'm very lucky that when I went to my first British Junior Championship, which was in 1997. So when I went first time to play the British Junior Championship, I meet with Linda Davy. I have this message I wanted to record since long time, to say and to say thanks to Linda, who helped me in my life, who helped so many other youngsters too from Pakistan. When we were going to England, she was providing us accommodation, and like when I become Pakistan number one, I invite Linda Davy to Pakistan a few times. Pakistan Squash Federation help in that, and she came to Pakistan. She was always helping Pakistan squash, and giving rackets, giving like so many equipments, and so many other things. So how this begins, when I first when I was playing the British Junior Championship in 1997. So I went to Sheffield. I went to Sheffield, and I was playing the British Junior, where I played final in 1997. So Linda was the tournament director. She was tournament director, and I was winning the first round. I couldn't speak a word of English. I can't speak word of English, and but I was, after winning. It was in Hallamshire Squash Club. I think that's the Nick Matthews belonged to that club. So I was playing the first round, and I was sitting in that couch or sitting in the corner, and waiting for my second round. And Linda was walking around from there, and she was seeing me. She didn't say anything when I went first round, when I went second round, but she was keep watching that. Who's this kid? Why is he waiting here? And she was not talking to me on that time, but she was like keep watching me. That this kid came alone, because I was alone from Pakistan. There was no one else representing Pakistan in 1997 British Junior Championship. There was only one of Pakistani kid, and I was alone there. And I was playing the British Junior Championship, and I was very lucky that I played the final. I beat Kareem Darwish in semi-finals in 1997 British Junior Championship. So, so Linda watched me, and then when I reached to quarterfinals, Linda came near to me and she says, "Can you speak English?" And I couldn't say a word because I don't know anything how to speak, how to say, how to respond to her. So she says, she tried to talk to me, and I was just like, with my broken broken accent and broken English, I was trying to explain that how I came and what I'm doing. And I was nearly crying because I win the quarterfinal, and I was waiting. That was the late in the night. I was late in the night, and then all the buses were gone and everything. So I was looking for my shuttle, that shuttle can take me to a hotel. But then Linda showed up, and she says, why you, like, I was about to, like, I was nearly crying. So Linda says, what's happening? I mean, I say, no bus, I have go hotel, so she take me outside, and there was a driver sitting in the shuttle, and she requests the driver that take this kid to hotel. So the next day she came to Aberdale Squash Club in Sheffield, so where she watched my semi-final with Kareem Darwish, and I beat him. And then she was crying after that when I beat Kareem Darwish. She says, "You came alone. There was no one with you, and then you playing so beautiful squash. Tell me about you." Like, like I say, you know what? My uncle. My uncle live here in Macclesfield. She says, "Who uncle? Which uncle?" I say, "Uncle Badr Zaman." So she says, Badr is my daughter's coach. So, it's a small world, everybody knows each other sometimes. So then I interact with Linda, and Linda become my mentor, my mother, my everything. um, she was more than my parents. She was watching me. She was everywhere because she was a sponsor for PSL. For league in England, and she was an international referee too. She was going everywhere to doing refereeing, but she was supporting all the players too. So many players from Scotland, so many players from England. She was living in Macclesfield, and so that's how I start. And then she was giving me accommodations in her home. When she was not in home, she was leaving the keys outside from her garage, and she says that you can take a train, you can come here. So many times I have to mention that. I wanted to mention that in my video someday, to give her tribute and give her thanks back. I know it's not a lot, but I have to say things from my heart, what I think for her, what I have in my heart for her. So many times, because I was very poor, I don't have any money. So, and she knows this. So she was that good lady, that she says that when you come to Manchester, she was giving me all the money which I was spending on the train ticket, and then she was giving me the taxi money, and then she was giving me sometime free accommodation. And she was talking to me for so many people. She introduced me to Paul Walters, who sponsored me for my equipments. Paul was my manager, and now he's manager for Hamza Khan. He sponsor Hamza for Unsquashable, who's also helping Jahangir Khan on his brand 555 Unsquashable. So Paul Walters and we are friends since it's been, I think, more than 20 years. We know Paul Walter, and he really helped us. That's all because of Linda Davy. So Linda, I have to say thanks to you. But what was the reason to say all this thing in the video? I get lucky. I find I mean, I was lucky that, Linda helped me. Linda teach me so many things. But when Pakistani kids come from Pakistan now, they can't speak a word of English. When you don't speak English, you have to interact, whoever you interact outside, you can't speak Urdu. They don't know Urdu, so you have to learn the international language. So this message I wanted to record for Pakistan Squash Federation, who's doing great job with the kids when they are providing them good squash training in Pakistan Squash Federation, whatever facilities they have. But I think they can easily, because Pakistan Squash Federation hold by Air Force, so Air Force is a very strong uh, place to give those facilities to youngers. If they can, with their good squash, if they can provide them a English teacher, if they can provide them an English teacher for 1 hour, for 2 hour, to give them a class, to give them a class. So yesterday, my friend from Houston, Texas, Jahanzeb, sent me a video where he was helping Sabur. So that's opened my mind, and I was thinking, wow, he spent whole day in squash court. He was working very hard. Sabur was working very hard. Sabur was doing, like, he sent me all what he did yesterday, solo games, training. And after that in home, he was giving him time and explaining him and teaching him the English, and asking questions, answering his questions. So that will really helps him to understand, because when you're trying, you will learn. You will always learn when you're trying. So that's what I was thinking to make that video for the kids, because it's always a soft side in my heart for Pakistan, because I born in Pakistan. So, and I know, because it's our family game too, all the family kids playing squash, so it's always a softer heart. So I was thinking about them. So this is a humble request for Pakistan, to Pakistan Squash Federation, that if they can provide a English teacher who can give them English class for 1 hour or 2 hour, or because like they always have time. They always have time, because I was in Pakistan Squash Federation camps too when I was training sometimes in Abbottabad or in some other places, where we were training very hard and we have time. So rather than watching movies, which is very nice, I mean, you have to go, you have to entertain yourself, because training is always very hard. So you have to entertain yourself with training. But with training, education is the most important thing, which sometimes in life you're lacking this part. So I'm not regretting that I didn't go to those places which I get the free scholarship in the past, when I was playing the World Junior Championship in 1998. So Jahangir Khan, I hope Jahangir Bhai remembers this. Jahangir Khan was our manager for 20 days in Princeton University in Princeton, New Jersey. And because the thing was that, why, what was the reason not taking that opportunity? Because seeing the respect of Jahangir, seeing the respect of my uncle Qamar Zaman, and all these legends in Pakistan, when you see their respect, that's what wanted. You always wanted to be champion, so you always wanted to be great squash player. But then in later in life, you realize that it's very important that with your squash you have to carry your education too, which was very hard, because the background was very weak. The parents were growing up like six children, so it was very hard to carry studies. So that's why we just choose squash, and we just wanted to be a good squash player. So Jahangir came in my room 1998. Me and Mansoor Zaman was roommate in Princeton, in those dorms in Princeton University. And Jahangir came in my room and Jahangir says to me that, Shahid, Mr. Bob Cullen wants you and Mansoor to stay here and study in Princeton, and they will help you. And now I know what is Princeton, what is Harvard, what is Yale, and what is all these places where people go for studies. And I was getting that free scholarship on that time. And I told Jahangir asked me like few times. He says, Shahid, you should stop and finish your studies here and keep carry on your squash, because Squash is a nightmare. You have to work really, really hard to be a champion. It's not easy. But I says no, Jahangir, because what was the problem? The problem was, on the same time I was seeing that problem too. That I think if anybody was watching that, so Jahangir was with us for 20 days. We were there. 20 days, all the people were coming, just wanted to see Jahangir, just wanted to see Jahangir, just wanted to take him for dinner. And so many times, if he don't have time for dinners, people were taking him for breakfast, for lunch. Say, please go with us. So, when you see that kind of respect part, you always want to just play squash. But then you forget that, study is very important. So I missed that in 1998. And then the door was again open in 2000 for me when I was playing the World Junior semi final with Karim Darwish in Milan, Italy in 2000. And Baj was there. Satinder Bajwa was there. He says he was watching all the World Junior, and I think they're always recruiting people. So this is, if you want, we can help you for education in Harvard. I say no, it's too far. It's United States too far. I just don't want to go to United States. It's And then now, I mean, I'm in Boston. I'm 5 minute walk from Harvard University. I train Amanda, who was world number 6, Harvard number 1. I trained Sabrina, who was Harvard number 1. So I was thinking, wow, I didn't come here for my education, but I become teacher and teaching all these kids who's going to all these Ivy League colleges. And I mean, that's my story, but I include my story because sometimes when you have these opportunities, when the youngsters has the opportunities, you don't have to miss those. Sometimes when you have these door open, you have to take advantage of those doors, or of those opportunities. And I'm not regretting that. I'm really thankful to God for every single thing what I have, what I get in my life. I'm really thankful for every second of my life. But again, this message is, there was a small message, it was gone long. It was a small message for Pakistan Squash Federation with their beautiful training, what they're giving to the kids in Pakistan Squash Federation. It's a long hours training for kids, but if they include a English class or some kind of educational class to those kids, that will help them, I think, more in squash. Because if you providing them little education, this will open their brain more. This will open their their sense, their everything gets improved with studies. Because when you have good education, you can you can talk better, you can respect better, you can, because so many times when you come outside, because I learned this and I have to say thanks to Linda. Because I was buying something when I was kid, and Linda was going with me in the shops, and I would say, can I have this? So then Linda was stopping me and she was saying that, say please, say please, whatever you want, you have to say please, and be respectful, be humble. So these values very important. Because if you're respecting, this will come back. Whatever you giving, it will come back, it will returns. So I think this little message will helps, because I try to share my knowledge, what I have. And I think this will help, because it's all these years of struggle as a professional squash player, traveling all around the world, facing the problems, don't understand things because of lack of education, sometimes can't read, because there was no education. There was, in Pakistan, the problem is this, that we are facing that, we were in public schools, which is fine. I mean, people who can't afford, they, of course, they go to public schools. But the problem, there is no English over there, there is no English. But when you want to be an international squash player, when you want to be an international person, you have to have a good English to talk to people, to understand what they're saying, and to understand more what opportunity comes to you. So I hope this little message will helps the youngsters and opens the brains of the people who are looking after squash. I mean, I know they're working really hard that Pakistan squash get back, but education is very important. So I think if you guys can help them get good education, there will be really really well. So I wish you all the best for future and for upcoming tournaments. And thank you very much, and may God bless you all. Thank you guys.